Hello, hello, hello. I pressed activate on my camera and it didn't come on. But now it is. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Hookster Talks with me and Mr. T.B. the Bear. Everyone's favourite bear. And, of course, number one Lewis Hamilton fan, aren't you, TB? Yes, he says he's so excited, so excited. So, what about this? What about this position we finished in Austria? It's just a blip, he says. It's just a blip. What's that? Lulu for the win at Silverstone. There you go. You heard it here first. Lulu for the win at Silverstone. Wowzers. Wowzers. Anyway, let's go to the chat. Hello to Matthew7657. He says, Lewis Hamilton is Will F1's babes. Shane says, hello Shane, welcome to the stream. Lewis Hamilton is the GOAT, says Matthew. Shane says, I bet it's come as a shock in 2018 when the Hockenheimring agreed to have one more German Grand Prix than the following years. 2018 was really meant to be the final Grand Prix there. Yes, it was, Shane, yes. What goes through the Hookster's head when Joseph Plant says, coming up to an Alpine? I think that's you, Dave. I'll tell you what comes up in my mind. I'm not going to let you bloody pass. That's what comes up in my mind. Yes. Yes. I really miss Formula 1 racing Hockenheimring. Yes, you do, Shane. Hi, TB, my fate. He says, hello to you. Although I miss Formula 1 racing at the Hockenheimring, it might come back one day. Yes, it might. Yes, it might. Right, I'm going to get rid of the chat for a minute. Because before we start talking about the Formula 1, I have to talk about Sony. Now, you've probably seen this on the internet already. It's all over the internet, and I mean all over the internet. I did make a video about this morning. I reviewed the video before I was about to upload it, which is quite unusual for me. Usually I just say, yep, that'll do, let it go. But I reviewed the video and it turned out to be 20 minutes of an old man ranting. So I'm not going to upload that. So I'm just going to talk about it here. I have calmed down a little bit now, so I could be a little bit more objective. So yes, I'm just going to talk about it here. Before I continue, I just want to apologise in advance if I disappear, because I am on brand new internet. If anyone doesn't know, I had a lightning strike. Didn't actually strike me, but lightning came down and destroyed all my cable TV equipment. And so on Monday, I've had the whole lot replaced. So this is brand new internet, brand new router box, brand new cable TV box. Everything's been replaced. So I apologise in advance if something goes wrong and it cuts out and I have to rejoin the stream again. So it's all a bit nerve-wracking at the moment. I hope it's going to hold together. I was assured by the Virgin TV bloke that this internet box is so much better than the last one. So there you go. We will find out. I'm just going to turn my fan off for a moment because it's getting a little bit chilly now. So here is the news. Physical disc production is ending in January 2028 for new games releasing on PlayStation consoles. Before I continue, I just want to put that into perspective. What that means, it means there'll be no disc-based games released for the PlayStation 5 from 2028. Now, a lot of you out there are probably thinking, well, that's not such a big deal. Now, you're right, it isn't such a big deal because as the latest statistics show, 85% of people, I think this year, have bought games digitally, which means that the market for physical games is only 15%. So yeah, I can understand that. But in terms of game preservation, this is terrible news. Absolutely terrible news. Now, as you know, I am very much into the older games, the older retro games, the old Formula 1 games. And with this news in 2028, we're going to end up in a situation now where the oldest game we're going to have in our library is probably going to be about 6 or 7 years old, and that's going to be it. That's seriously going to be it. In regards to F1, it's going to be even more ridiculous because, as you probably know, on the PlayStation Store, they only have like the last 2 or 3 of the F1 games on the store, and then they delete the rest. We've lost 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, and 21, 22, and I think 23 is still there at the moment, but all those others have now been delisted from the store. So the only way you can play those games now is on a disc version. So what does this mean for the PlayStation 6, which is rumoured to be out in 2027? Well, what this means is that the console will be 100% digital only. There won't be a disc drive. Now, people are still holding out for the hope that there may be some kind of separate disc drive that you can sort of plug in as an aftermarket job so you can still play older games. Personally, I don't think that's going to happen. I can't see it happening. So the PlayStation 6 will be digital only, and I think this will be a really, really bad idea. They're already muting the price to be in the region of £900 to £1,000, which is absolutely insanity. And now they've come out and said that there won't be a disc drive on. Well, we know now that there won't be a disc drive on the PS6 because they're abandoning disc drives from 2028. Now, a really big YouTuber was reporting on this, Asmongold, and he came out with something which really got up my nostril because it just sort of explained that he, in some regards, he really doesn't know what he's talking about. When he said, well, they've stopped the physical disc because it took up a lot of space inside the console, so there wasn't. That's a complete load of rubbish because the disc drive sits outside of the console. It doesn't sit inside the console, it sits outside of it. The only thing inside the console is the connector for the disc drive, connection to the motherboard. The rest of the disc drive is completely outside of the console. So that was just complete nonsense when he said that it's to save space, because it's not saving space at all because it's outside of the console. Now, back in the day when Sony released the digital-only version of the PlayStation, where you couldn't get the disc drive for it, before they released the Slim, where you could upgrade to a disc drive, when they originally brought that out, just the digital version, the actual connector for the disc drive was still on the motherboard. They just had it blocked off so you couldn't add anything to it, but it was still there. So every single PlayStation they sold back then, which could have had a drive on it, could have, if they hadn't have blocked off the port. Instead of removing the port entirely, all they did was just block it off so you couldn't plug anything into it, but it was still there, even the digital versions, because this was Sony's first attempt to test the market to see whether a fully digital PlayStation would work. So in a way, if we bought the digital ones, we're partially at fault for getting to the situation that we're in now. Anyway, let's read the blog. In response to shifting trends in consumer preference, new games will be released on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. Now, this is another problem. This has been released at the worst possible time when they've just announced themselves, Sony, that they're deleting 551 movies from their catalogue because they no longer have the licenses to them. So 551 movies, and there's some big movies in there. Terminator 2 was one of them. You've paid money for these movies, and now they're getting removed, and there's no rebates, there's no cashback. That's it. It's gone. You're never going to be able to watch the movies again, and the money that you originally spent for them is now gone. This is the problem with a digital-only world, and that will happen to games as well. Games will get deleted, and that'll be it. We'll never be able to play them again. Now, in terms of the PS6, what that means is, well, it's quite an easy route for Sony now. They will completely abandon, in my opinion anyway, any support for the PlayStation 4, because the PlayStation 4 has had a lot of disk drive support and a lot of disks for it. So now they can just say, well, the PS6 hasn't got a disk drive on it, so we're not even going to bother putting compatibility for any PS4 games in. So I'm pretty sure from the outset that the PS6 won't be able to play PS4. Even PS5, it's only going to be able to play it if it's a digital game. If you've got discs of PS5 games, you won't be able to play those in the PS6 either. But more importantly than that, it's a bad blow for people in the second-hand game industry. And there's still quite a few of them out there, because it'll destroy the industry pretty much overnight as soon as they stop making games digitally. Now, the great thing about buying a physical game is, in a lot of places, there is actually a website that I used for a lot of years to get the Formula 1 games at a cheaper price, called the Game Collection. And they always had a physical copy of the latest F1 game, £10 cheaper than what you could buy it in the PlayStation Store. And for years, I was getting the F1 game that way, because it was just a cheaper way to get it. Now, that's gone. The other problem is price fixing. If there is no physical way that people can sell games and bring the price down, then Sony can basically just put any price they want in a digital store. And we've got two choices. We either pay it or we don't pay it, but that's it. They can fix those prices now at whatever price they want for games. And it's just down to you if you're going to pay it or if you're not going to pay it. Whereas when you had the physical disc, as I say, you could buy it cheaper. And then, of course, you've got the second-hand market where you could buy second-hand games for vastly cheaper prices, like, £10 for a game second-hand. And, a lot of these games, especially with the durability of Blu-ray, which is a lot more durable than even DVDs, you could get quite a few scratches on a Blu-ray and it would still play. So you could build your own game collection pretty cheaply, it has to be said. But unfortunately, those days are now behind us. Now, as everyone knows, I am a dedicated Sony fanboy, and I have been since the first one came out in 1995. I became a Sony fanboy after I stopped being a Sega fanboy after the Sega Mega Drive, which was my favourite game console of all time, has to be said, until Sega, and I can see parallels now between Sega and what Sony are doing now, started making some very strange decisions. I mean, they had the Mega Drive, and then first they came out with this add-on called the 32X that you plugged into the top of the Sega Mega Drive. And that was like, an uprated, it was like putting a graphics card in your PC, a new graphics card in your PC. And so it gave you upgraded games and stuff like that. But I always thought that was curious. I just thought, just bring out a new console, for God's sake. What are you doing? Then they brought out the Mega CD add-on, which was a CD drive, and I was starting to think, oh my goodness, this is not the Sega that I used to know. And so my love affair with Sega came to an end, and then it actually started up again with Sony. But I think I've reached that point again where my love affair with Sony is just coming to an end. As consumer preferences and the broader entertainment industry continues to shift away from physical disc to digital, physical game disc production for all new games released on PlayStation consoles will be discontinued starting January 2028. Following this date, new games will be available on the PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. This transition has no impact on games that have already been released or be releasing prior to the January 2028 in disc format. This is a natural direction for Sony Interactive Entertainment to adapt to consumer trends, as the general preference for digital media significantly outpaces physical discs. The transition will enable us to align more closely with how most of us and the community prefers to access and play games today. We'll continue to prioritise our resources to drive innovation in how players can access games and provide choices as to where players prefer to purchase new games, whether that's at retailers or PlayStation Store. We remain committed to delivering a world-class gaming experience to our fans, and we thank you for your continued support. Just a caveat to add to that, they are also closing down the PlayStation 3 and the PS Vita stores as well on the PlayStation Network. Now, we've had an extra 6 years out of this, so this news wasn't coming to a surprise. It's closing down in Europe, I think in 2027 or maybe the end of this year. But the PlayStation 3 store will be gone. Yes, there are still 1,498 titles on the PlayStation 3 store at this present time. I do believe it may have gone down a little bit by now, but that was what it was the last time I checked it. But yes, that is now going as well. And it's just very, very sad. It's sad for game preservation because we're just not going to have any anymore. We're just not going to have any kind of game preservation. I mean, you've got Steam. I mean, you can play some really old games on Steam because they're all there, and they're obviously all digital because they're on the PC. But you're not going to have that same thing with the PlayStation. They're not going to start digitally releasing old games, are they? I mean, they've tried. There's a few PS1 games, but they seem to have lost interest in that lately because that was getting updated constantly, and now it's just every now and again. Same with the PS2 games. They started doing those, and now they're just sort of, just now and again. Certainly slowed down on that. And of course, we got the PS3 debacle where they don't do any of those. They're just streamed if you want to play PS3 games. So overall, it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all. Now, I, like a lot of people, started with this bad boy. Yes, the PlayStation 1. Look at that. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I've still got the one with the I/O port as well. Look at that. It's one of the original. I don't think it's the original, but it's one of them. But yes, what a beauty it was. Now, the reason why this was so popular is because it was disc based. Now, this is quite funny now that Sony has announced this news. That the reason why this console was so popular is because it was disc based, and it was based on the CD, which in 1995 CDs were just coming into their own, and everybody was burning CDs of the latest Mystique album and selling them down their local pub. Everyone was doing that back in 1995. Yes. So this was based on the CD format. The great thing about it was you could play CDs in this as well. Now, it played CDs horribly, I have to say. Yes, you should have just gone for a decent CD player if you wanted. But it still had the capability to play CDs. And as I say, CDs were just starting to get really, really popular in the 90s. I did exactly the same thing. I was transferring all my tapes to CD before I suddenly realised that I could fit so much more onto a hard drive. But at the time, no, it was CDs. And so this is how it all started. And it was a disc-based format. And this is why the news from Sony today is quite funny. And this is how I fell in love with PlayStation. It's a bit dusty, this one, I must admit. Must give it a bit of a spruce up. But yes, there she is. She's still fully working as well. I don't have bits of equipment just for show. If they're not working, they either get repaired or thrown in the bin. But she's still fully working. And there it is, the great Sony logo on the front as well, which we've all loved over the years. Sadly, it's kind of disappearing now, or they put it on there, but they're trying to hide it. I think the PlayStation 5, it's right on the top, isn't it now? So yeah, I don't even remember it on the PlayStation 4, to be honest. That logo, it must be there somewhere, but very hidden away. But yes, so this was the console that started the PlayStation Revolution. But if it wasn't disc-based, that would not have happened, because all the consoles at the time were cartridges, and there was limitations with cartridges. One of those was that you couldn't play full motion video. Now, one of the great advantages of the PlayStation was the fact that it could play full motion video. Remember, all the cutscenes in the original Tomb Raider could only be possible because of the physical disc, the CD that could be played in here, that could play full motion video. Without that, it would not have been possible at all. And so, yeah, £299 when it first came out in the UK back in 1995. And that was the start of my love affair with Sony. And a lot of people's love affairs with Sony, I do believe. Let's just move my keyboard out of the way. And then, of course, in the year 2000, pull the memory cards out, we had this bad boy. Yes, the PS2. This has been rescued by my nieces from, they had one of those lockers, you know, where you can store stuff in storage lockers. It's like a big place where you can store stuff. This has been rescued by them because it's been in storage for, I think, maybe about 7 or 8 years, something like this. I have tested it. It does still work. It doesn't work very well with the disk drive, but it does still play games. So, yes. But anyway, this bad boy was launched in, I think, 2000 in the UK, 2000. And this also was a disc drive system. Look at that PlayStation logo on the front. You could flip it round if you wanted to stand it upright. Oh my goodness. And this, I have to say, was quite possibly most people's first DVD player. I know for a fact the first DVD film I ever bought, which I can exclusively reveal to you, was Tomb Raider, the first Angelina Jolie film. The first DVD that I ever bought, and it was played in the PlayStation 2 because I didn't have a dedicated. I'm sorry if the camera's flashing, but that's because it's got problems that we know about. But I'm just using it for an example because I've got the other camera working for me. But yes, so this was most people's first DVD player. This still stands. I don't think it's been beaten. I think one of the Nintendos is getting close to it now, but I think it still stands as the world's best-selling console. And the reason for that is because it was a disc drive console. Yes, DVD. DVD was, oh my God, it was getting absolutely massive. When this console first came out in 2000, it wasn't really, popular, but I believe that the PlayStation definitely put DVD on the map, and it was just such a great console, and it had so many games. Unbelievable. I did watch someone's YouTube video about 6 months ago, and it was about racing games in 2004, and apparently 37 racing games came out in 2004 on the PlayStation 2. I mean, it's just a crazy amount, isn't it? Absolutely crazy amount. But yeah, due to the popularity of this console, and I believe that this was still the best Sony console that they ever made. I've got another one in the moment that I actually prefer, but I still think that this is the best console that Sony ever made. So there's your PS2. Oh, and she's heavy. And then, of course, in 2000 and what's his name? I think it was 2007. We had the PS3. Now, I've never owned a fat PS3, which was probably a good decision because they were notoriously unreliable. So I've never owned one of them. I have got the PlayStation 3 Slim model, but that's downstairs plugged into my TV. But I have got the super slim model, which is the one I'm demonstrating here. Now, the PlayStation 3, of course, once again, I know I keep harping on about this, but it's true. Where's the button? Where's the button? There it is. Oh, I'm holding it. There it is. Was also a disc-based console. And once again, this took advantage of new technology, and that was Blu-ray. Now, Sony invented Blu-ray. It saw off HD DVD in less than 6 months. Yes, completely obliterated it. So Sony invented Blu-ray, and Sony, for the past God knows how many years, have been making billions out of us through Blu-ray film sales. And basically game sales as well for the PS3, because they're all on Blu-ray. Billions and billions of pounds they've made for us in Blu. And now, that's all gone in the bin. That's all gone in the bin. A technology that they invented, they are now making obsolete. Which kind of goes back to the VHS and the Betamax days. Of course, Sony invented Betamax. It was actually a superior format to VHS, but it had quite a few limitations. And that's the fact that the tapes would only last 2 hours, whereas VHS lasted for 3 hours each tape. So it had its limitations, but it was actually a better format, but it didn't last, unfortunately. And VHS really took over. And this is the same thing. They invented Blu-ray, and now they're just throwing it out the window for digital only. Now this, in my opinion, was the perfect console. Because it wasn't just a console, it was a complete multimedia machine. Now, in the original version, you could plug SD cards into the front. By lifting the flap up, you could put in SD cards. They had about 4 different memory card slots that you could put into it, including the infamous Sony's own brand of memory card, which the name escapes me at the moment. But yeah, you could put that in as well. And there was just so much you could do with this. You could put a flash drive in. I'm sorry, I'm doing this in reverse, so that's why I look like an idiot. But yeah, you could put a flash drive into the PS3 with films and movies, and you could upload them into the hard drive on this, and keep those films on the hard drive. And the good thing about that was also you could watch 10 minutes of a film, come back to it, and it would rejoin at the point that you left it because it was actually on the hard drive. Now, of course, Sony stopped this immediately with the PlayStation 4 because they realised that anything that you could plug in via USB, it's me again, you see, because the cameras ran the other way, anything you could plug in with USB, they suddenly realised could be hacked. And so for the PlayStation 4, they stopped that immediately. And so there was no physical way of getting anything onto the PlayStation 4 hard drive externally. But on the PlayStation 3, there was. So you could put movies. It also had a really cracking way of using it as a server as well. You could get your movies off your PC and you could play on this. So overall, I thought it was a better package because it had the Blu-ray drive, so you could play your Blu-ray movies on it. You could use it as a media server, and you could put your own media on it as well. And of course, the first ones that came out would play PS1, PS2, and PS3 games as well. So it was, for me, it was the complete package. I never had the original though, but it was always the complete package. But very soon into this, Sony started to cotton on that things weren't going right because people were playing more PS2 games than they were PS3. So very soon into the life of the PlayStation, they decided to remove the backwards compatibility of the PS2 games. And so all you could do was play PS3 or PS1 because every single version of the PS3 has still been able to play PS1 games as well. But the PS2 backwards compatibility was completely removed. They say it was because nobody wanted the facility, wanted the capability, but that's a lot of old bullcrap. It was because no one was buying PS3 games. And don't forget, this came out, when it first came out, it was an absolute disaster. £425. I mean, it seems crazy these days when you're PS5's going for what, 550 quid, but 425 pounds. Everyone just was not buying it. They had to aggressively reduce the price over a very short amount of time. It went down to 299. That was the launch of the slim model, and then the super slim came out. I do believe that was even cheaper, maybe even 250, something like that. But this got heavily discounted towards the end of its life. I remember £200. I actually bought one of these in Tesco's, one of the very last PS3s, and it was £99. One in a Christmas sale quite a few years ago now. Yeah, so they were heavily being discounted at the time. But yeah, for me, this was the perfect PlayStation console, because it did so much more than just play games. It really did. But unfortunately, it didn't do so well. Then, of course, we had the PlayStation 4. Now, I've only got one PlayStation 4, and that's downstairs, so I'm not going to drag that up, but you know what it looks like. You know what it looks like. Let's get rid of that now. And, of course, the PlayStation 4 did stand on its own because it had a lot of first-party games. It had a lot of things not going for it. The fact that it couldn't play PS3 games, everyone out of the box was like, wow, there's no way I'm going to buy one of these. But it still went on to be completely dominant in the market because what did it have? It had games. So many of the big franchises continued on PS4. A lot of them started on PS3, but they continued. You had Uncharted. You had The Last of Us. And this is the problem. None of those big franchises have actually survived onto the PS5. Now, if you look in the store, you'll see PS5 versions of The Last of Us, Part 1 and Part 2. You'll see PS5 versions of Uncharted. But all they are upgraded versions of the original PS4 base game. They just put them out in 4K. They're not actual new games. They're the same games that were out on PS4. None of those games, and I'm including Tomb Raider in this as well, none of those games have actually translated onto PS5. So we've got a games console now, which is £550 to buy and has very few games on it. But the good thing about the PS5 is it plays PS4 games. It's also got a disk drive, so you can play PS4 games off a disk drive as well. So that's great news. Great news indeed. But the PS6, I think Sony have shot themselves in the foot completely. And I predict that sales of the PS6 are going to be atrocious. And to be honest, Sony have only got themselves to blame. But here's the thing, people. Here's the thing. There is something we can do about this. Yes, as the people, we can do something about this, because Sony has made one fatal mistake, and that is we are the customers. And let's be honest, we don't really need Sony, do we? It's not like your gas or your electric, two things that you actually need in life to, cook your food and keep you warm. Sony, it's a couple of hours of entertainment in an evening before you go to bed, basically, isn't it? So we don't really need Sony. So what we need, people, we need to rise up and show Sony a clear message that we're not going to stand for this. We're not going to stand for this. So I applaud anyone now out there to boycott Sony. Let's hit Sony in where they don't like to be hit the most, in their financial pocket. Let's see their subscriptions fall, and let's see them try and turn around this decision that they've made, because us, and only us, can turn this decision around. And I implore you all now to send Sony a clear message that this decision is quite possibly one of the worst ones they've ever made. I understand, yes, 85% digital, 15% physical. I understand that. That's not my argument. My argument is game preservation, which from 2028 onwards is basically going to be out the window. And some of the great games from the past are just going to get completely lost now in time. New people coming along, youngsters trying to get into Formula One or stuff like that, they're going to miss all of this now. They're going to miss it all. All they're going to be able to play is games no older than 7 years old. And that's a great shame. Think about all those great F1 games. F1 97. F1 Championship Edition. All going to be lost in time now. All going to be lost in time. It's just going to be ridiculous. It really is. So anyway, there you go. That was my little Sony rant. It was a whole lot calmer than the one that I made this morning. So yes, let me know what you think about this decision by Sony. I better go to the comments, otherwise I'm going to have so many. I'm going to be completely inundated. Right, here we go. Back to the comments. Sorry about that little rant, but I had to get it off my chest because, you know, some things I feel passionate about, and so I have to say about it. Let me put the fan back on. It's getting warm again. Getting warm again. Right, here we go. Oh, sorry. I can't get to the top of the chat because it's missed off. I do apologise. Shane says, how old are you? He says, I feel like I'm 40. Hello, Mr. Caledonia. Welcome to the stream. Hello, Mr. Rugawa. Welcome to the stream. Nintendo is the best by far. You know what? I have to agree with you. I have to agree with you. Yes, I've never been impressed with Nintendo. I have had a Nintendo console. It was the Game Boy. Yes, but then everybody got a Game Boy back in the day, didn't they? Even people that were PlayStation fans got Game Boys. Yes, and it was just great. I played Tetris on that for hours. Hours and hours and hours. Charles Leclerc turned to Felipe Massa. Yes, I buy physically, so I think, what the fuck is this shit? Yes, absolutely. Back when PS1 and PS2 games that weren't any digital games, they were just physical games, then I can get it sold. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Now, if you buy a game from the store and you don't like it, that's it. You are stuck with it. There's some policies in place. I think if I remember rightly, you've got 2 hours to exchange it after you've bought it. But if you've played it at all, they won't give you your money back. I think that's how it works. So like, anyway, you've got just a couple of hours. I did actually use that policy about a year ago when I accidentally pressed the wrong button, which is very easy to do on the PlayStation Store. A lot of people may be going, you're numpty, but it's very easy to do. I pressed the wrong button and bought the wrong game. And straight away, I contacted Sony, and they did refund me the money straight away because it was within a couple of hours, and I hadn't touched the game, I hadn't played it or anything. So in that regards, yes, you can. But the moment you load that game up or press start on it, that's it. It's game over. As far as they're concerned, you've bought the game. So there's no comebacks. Interesting that, says Mr. Regard. World Cup still going on. Citizens, hello, what's the stream? The age of the console is officially over. Yes. Yes. I think you're right. I know one thing for sure. Sony have absolutely shot themselves in the foot. As I say, the PlayStation 6 will be 2 disasters. One, because it won't have a disk drive on it. 2, it's going to be rumoured to be about £1,000, which is just absolutely crazy. And the decision isn't even based on money either, because trust me, those Ultra HD drives that they put on all the Sony PS5 consoles, that's costing them about $15 to put that on. I guarantee you, because they're made really, really cheaply in bulk, those drives, because they're not very good, even though they are Ultra HD drives, they're not the best quality whatsoever. So they get them done in mass production. So they get them really, really cheap. And it costs them about 15 quid each console to put a disk drive. So it's nothing to do with, oh, we've got to do this to keep the price down of the... No, that's not it at all. Because I say they can do those for 15 quid. It's, you know, it's crazy to even sort of think that's the decision they're making. Caledonia F1 says, gaming is so annoying now in the day. Yes. Mega CD add-on, says Mr. Rugare. Oh, do you remember that? Do you remember that? Oh my God, yes. I remember that. I remember that. Yes. I think I had it for my Mega Drive. I can't remember, but they've all gone now because all those CD-based systems. Yeah, there's me Mega Drive behind me. You can't actually see it, but let's see if I can show you on the other camera. Where's the Mega Drive? I'll go roaming. There you go. There's the Mega Drive, as you can see, with a copy of Virtual Racer inside it. But yeah, I think all the accessories I had for it, I think they've all died now. And only the Mega Drive still remains, unfortunately, because that was the only part that actually would last as long, because there was no moving parts, because it was a cartridge-based system. But yeah, I think I had all the bits for it in the end, but it just ended up looking like a dinner tray in the end, because that's what it was. If you look at it online, it just looks like a dinner tray full up with your dinner. You had the Mega Drive on one side, and you had the CD add-on, and then you could put the 32X into the top if you wanted to as well. Oh my God. Oh my God. And that was when I said to myself, this is not going in the right direction, and that's when I stopped with Sega. And as I say, Sony is now reaching that point. Why is that? Sega Mega CD drive. Oh, I see. I don't know. Sony has at least evolved their damn brand, unlike Sega. Well, true, they have evolved it, yeah. PlayStation 2 is the best console ever. Yes, Mr. Rugar, I agree. It is. I agree. It's my favourite console ever, along with the PlayStation 1. Yes, PS2 was fantastic, says Caledonia F1. You had a red screen when you put the wrong disc in. Yeah, you know, I've never had a red screen, so obviously I've never put the wrong disc in. But I must try that one day, because yes, you're right. The red screen of death, as they called it. Oh, let's not talk about the red screen. Oh, okay. He's obviously had put a disc in that wasn't the right one. But yes, PS2 was definitely the best console. It was the best gaming console, as I've said for other reasons why I prefer the PS3, but that was because it was more of a multimedia console and did media as well as games. So that's why I preferred the PS3. But yes, for gaming, PS2 was the best. I mean, just go back and look at the gaming. You can look it up on Google. Look at the gaming catalogue for PS2. There was thousands and thousands of games. Thousands and thousands of games, I'm telling you, which are all going to get lost in time now. Just that's the sad part. I mean, yeah, you can do them on emulation. Fair enough. Mind you, there isn't a modern console that can play PS2 games anyway, to be fair. That's the red screen of the Sony PlayStation. Get Pedro Della Rosa on this all seasons of up. Yes, get Pedro Della Rosa. Yeah, on PS1, PS2 and PS3 they could play CDs, but the PS4 and PS5 they didn't play CDs. Yes, and the reason for that, Shane, is because CDs used a red laser. And the trouble with that red laser is it got very, very hot. And unfortunately, it got so hot that it started to burn out the blue laser, which is the laser that you use for the DVDs and the Blu-rays. So after the PS3, because they're all suffering from laser burnout, after the PS3 and the PS4 came along, they said, no, we're going to ditch CD playback, because it's not needed. So they got rid of it so that the disk drives would last longer. I have to say it was a good decision. I I don't remember serious problems with the PS4 disk drive failing. Obviously, they always fail eventually, but I think it was a lot more reliable than the PS3 one. And a lot fault with Will F1 game due to the fact that they think Lawson is an epic racer. The PlayStation 2 is the first console I had. My first console was the Sega Mega Drive until it broke via age, says Caledonia F1. Yes. Yes. Of course, I went back a little bit further than that. My first ever, it's not really a console, it was a computer, was the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. Yes, 48K. Don't you know, don't you know? Oh my God. That was epic. That was epic. Loved that. Absolutely loved that. PS2 heater, says Mr. Regar. First console was quite likely the Nintendo Wii, to be honest. Yeah, my niece had a Nintendo Wii, I remember that. Yeah, the PlayStation 2 was the first PlayStation to play CDs. Yes, it was. Sorry, not CDs. DVDs. Yes, it was. My old plasma TV also heated the room during winter, but was near unbearable in the summer. Ah, yes, the good old plasma TV. Yeah, you didn't need the heating on when one of those was on, did you? Hey, you didn't need the heating on. I've got my own heater now, as in the Virgin Media internet router. Oh my goodness! When the man put it in on Monday, he said to me, "Okay, this router." I said, "Yes. What about it?" He says, "They do get quite hot." He says, but don't worry about it. That's perfectly normal," he said. I went, "Okay." He says, "There is a fan in there," he says, "that keeps it cool a little bit." I says, "A little bit? Oh, that's nice." And let me tell you, everyone, I've been touching the top of this router for the past 3 days, and it is literally red hot. Absolutely, at all times, because you can't switch it off because it's the internet box. They always say to you, don't they? "Oh, don't keep switching it off, otherwise it causes problems." So it's got to stay on all the time, and it is literally red hot. If there's a fan in there, I don't know what the hell the size of the fan is. It must be it must be a little mouse on a wheel going around, because that certainly is not pushing any air out. But yes, it's red hot. So I'm not predicting that internet router box is going to last very long. No. That epic machine. Let me guess, that PS2 has laser issues. Yes, Mr. Sisters, it has got laser issues. It plays PS1 games, absolutely no problem whatsoever. Quite surprisingly, it plays the PS2 blue coated discs, which was the CD ones. It plays them. Usually, that's one of the first ones to actually break. It actually does play PS2 DVDs, but not all of them. Some of them it struggles with, because I've tested about 6 and it played half of them fine, the other half it struggled with. But it does still work, but it has problems, yes. I believe we had it working for like 16 years. This is boo to Sony. Yes, boo to Sony. I think it might. How dare you say boo to Sony, says Shane. 2006 was the year that PS3 was released. Thank you, Caledonia F1. Consoles are all but dead. The next generation are basically going to be heavily restricted streaming boxes. Yeah. Obviously, Sony are going to bring out this PlayStation 6, which is going to be a heap of steaming crap. But I'm pretty sure that's going to be the very last console that's going to be made by Sony. As you say, they'll just be streaming boxes, won't they? Because the internet in another 10 years will be vastly improved, and so I think you'll just end up streaming every single game, even the really big like PS6 games. I think they'll probably just get streamed as well. Very, 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 very sad times, I have to say. Very, very sad times. Did have the PS4. My brother has that Microsoft console. Oh, probably correct. They deserve it for effectively destroying the console as we know it, Shane. Yeah, I agree with you. They do deserve it. They do deserve it. We supported them for all these years. As I say, we've spent money on Blu-ray, which they invented, and now they're throwing that all in the bin. All in the bin. Yes. Yes. Just because it's old doesn't mean you throw it away. As I say, to put a disk drive on the PS6 would cost them about £15. So it's nothing to do with cash. As I said earlier in the stream, when Asmongold said that it's because it makes up space on the console. No, it doesn't, because it sits outside of the console. It's outside of the motherboard. That did make me annoyed. It really did. But yeah, it's outside of the console. As I say, it's just a connector. It connects underneath to the motherboard on the top. That's all it is. It's got no impact on the motherboard whatsoever. Because if that connector wasn't there, there'd be something else on that motherboard, because they just spread other bits out. So it's meaningless to say that, oh, it's because it takes up too much space. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, because it's outside it. Yeah, it was 2006 when the PS3 came out, but it didn't come out over here until the UK in the following year. Mr. Will F1, sir! Sir! Oh my goodness, thank you so much for the £5 donation. Hookster to win the British Grand Prix. Yes. Yes, Hookster to win the British Grand Prix. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Still has more chance than Norris says, but yes. Damn. Damn. That's what I say. Damn. Well, thank you very much for that, sir. Thank you very much indeed. You're still the number one Yorkshireman. You know that, don't you? Canada's £5 towards Hookster's Chippy Tea. Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. The GOAT was winning. Why has that happened? I don't know. Still has more chance. Oh, it's the same messages are down there. Right, I got you. Yeah, PlayStation 3 was the first PlayStation to play Blu-rays. Yes, it was. Blu-rays, which Sony invented. Sony invented Blu-rays. Yes, Sony completely destroyed the opposition, which was HD DVD. 6 months that lasted. 6 months. So they aggressively came in there and destroyed the follow-up to DVDs. Yes. Made everyone buy Blu-rays. Millions and millions of pounds of profit they've made from Blu-ray. Just think of all the films. Think of all the games. All on Blu-ray. Now, no, we're chucking it all in the bin. Game set, GG lads. I've never watched a Blu-ray. My family just bought the DVDs as they were cheaper. Yes. Yes. I only really got into Blu-ray about the past 6 or 7 years ago. I mean, I've still got a stack of DVDs. I think I've got about 300 movies on DVD, and I see people saying, "Oh, I'm chucking all these out and putting them on Blu-ray." I refuse to. I'm sorry, I refuse to, because DVD is the quality that I remember, so I keep it with it. The only ones I buy on Blu-ray now are like latest releases. That's the only ones I buy on Blu-ray, latest releases. But I've still got the Indiana Jones trilogy on DVD. Yes, DVD. I refuse. I've still got the Matrix trilogy on DVD. Yes, DVD. Yes, I refuse. The only time I sort of upgrade to Blu-ray is if a box set comes along really, really cheap. Like if there's 3 films in a set and it's really, really cheap on Blu-ray, then I'll possibly flick over. Or if the DVD stops working, then instead of getting another DVD, I'll replace it with a Blu-ray. But apart from that, no. I say I've got about 300 DVDs still. In fact, when the Virgin technician came out on Monday to sort out my cable box, because they're all in like my front room, he went, "Oh my God," he says, "you've still got DVDs." I went, "Oh yes. Oh yes, some things you have to preserve in life, you know." He said, "Oh my God," and then he's going about me memory cards for me PS2. I said, "Oh yes, do you remember those days? £30 for a memory card for your PlayStation 2 so you can save your game. 30 quid. Unbelievable extortion by Sony." That was the start of the downfall of Sony, you know. These memory cards, 30 quid. They had and I've just dropped mine on the floor. Now I've got it. And they had this thing called Magic Gate technology, which Sony invented, which means that a lot of the third-party manufacturers of memory cards couldn't make them because it was owned by the patent was owned by Sony. I've actually got one here that is a third party, so they must have licensed it to Mad Cat. If it focuses, come on, focus. Who remembers this company back in the day? It's not going to focus, is it? Because it's focusing on my big bald head. I'll get my big bald head out of the way and maybe it will focus. Focus. How do these streamer girls do it? They go like that, and they'll say, I don't know. Oh, quick, focus on my titties. Focus on my titties. That's usually how it works. But it's still not Anyway, I'll just tell you what it says. It says Mad Cats. Anyone remembers those back in the day? Mad Cats. They made tons of stuff. Steering wheels, joysticks, and memory cards, but they were one of the very few companies that weren't Sony that could make them. But yeah, it's such an extortion racket. £30 for a memory card just to save your games on. And of course you couldn't use the good old PS1 memory card. No. It's got to be the PS2 because the PS2 save couldn't fit on a PS1 because it's far too big, don't you know? Far too big. Just give us our 30 quid. Outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. Also, I didn't know Sony invented Blu-ray. Yes, they did, Shane. Yes, Sony invented Blu-ray. That's a cool flash drive, to be honest. Thank you. Oh, this one. Yeah. I got this free from Nero. Yes, because that's the editing software that I use. And so sometimes when I update the software, which is usually about every 3 years, because they want me to do it every year, but I'm not going to do it because it's the same program every year. So I do it about every 3 years, and sometimes out of the generosity of their heart, they give me a flash drive for free. Yes, so thank you, Nero. Not every year though, just every 3 years. Game, set and match for Will. Wimbledon is on. Me neither. I've never owned a Blu-ray player either. Paddock 69 is coming back though. I have had a DVD player and a VHS player, says Shane. Yes, I've got VHS as well, Shane. I've still got two VHSs right here. In fact, let me show you those VHSs. Now I'm mucking around with this camera. There it is. Oh, I've knocked my own camera. Never mind. Come on, roving camera. I don't know if you can see those. Down there. There's my original computer, and there is two VHSs. Yes, two VHSs. One's an LG and one's a Matsui. Yes, Curry's favourite. Yes, Curry's favourite. And above that is a record player. Yes, some of you may remember what a record player is. But yes, just above that is a record player. Yes. Fantastic. Right, let's turn that one off now. And put that back on there. I think I've knocked my own camera out of alignment. Yes, I have. A little bit anyway. Let's go that way. There we go. Now I'm in the middle. Yes, right. PS3 was an interesting one. That launch price messed it up, but its cinematics kinda cooked. Yes, they did. I agree. I did like the cinematics. Like I still own DVDs, although I don't have a DVD player like I used to because I have a TV that has a DVD player in it. Nice one. PS3 did see F1 Championship Edition. Now that looks good. Yeah, F1 Championship Edition. If you go back and play that now, it looks better than some of the modern F1 games. I mean, I've got the latest add-on pack for F1 26, which outputs in I think 4K on my TV now. It still doesn't look as good as Formula One Championship Edition. I tell you, it really doesn't. It's crazy, and that's only in 720p, but it looks better than F1 26, which is just crazy. I only have one PS4 too. That's because you only really need the one. That's true. Yes. Yeah, I've only got one PS. Now I've got the PS5, of course, which was kindly donated to me by uh, one of the guys in the ERL races. So thank you very much to him, because even at 429, that's way out of my price range. So thank you to him for doing that. Yeah, because the PS5, you see, because it plays PS4 games. So yeah, you don't really. I still use the PS4 on the weekend. I'm going through the Tomb Raider trilogy at the moment at the weekend, and I'm doing that on the PS4. Because why not give the PS5 a rest at the weekend? So that's what I'm doing. And the old girl's still going. She still sounds like a jet engine, but she's still going. And no, I haven't taken it apart. And no, I haven't replaced the thermal paste. I'm one of those people that basically I don't take any console apart. I clean them on the outside, but the only time I take a console apart is if it starts overheating or there's a problem develops. Because unfortunately, none of us are technicians, so and once you start taking them apart, you're in for a world of hurt. But that's the only time I take them apart, and I'd only repaste any console if it started showing overheating issues. That's the only time I'd repaste it, because once you start taking them apart, you end up with more problems than nothing. So she's still going. She still sounds like a jumbo jet. Yes, really. Oh my God, loudest fan I've ever heard. And I've had some computers with loud fans on, but nothing beats the PS4 jet engine. Really doesn't. Always remarkable that it would sit there on a menu screen and then ramp up to full speed on the fan. I'm like, it's not doing anything. Why is it? So great that it used to do that. Paddock 69 probably heading over to protest the results. PS4 won by default as Nintendo and Microsoft screwed their launches up. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. I mean, it was destined to fail, really, wasn't it? The fact that it couldn't play PS3 games, because basically every generation since PS2 could play the previous generation, and the fact that the PS4 couldn't meant that it was a disaster. But the marketing for the PS4, I remember the adverts when they first came out. The marketing for the PS4 was very, very good indeed. I have to say, it's probably some of the best marketing that Sony have ever come up with. Paddock 69 doing a fixed. Yeah, 4K is the new Blu-ray. Yes, it is. I honestly can't get into 4K. I've got the capability to do the all seasons in 4K, but it just uses so much drive space. I mean, the files now at 1080p are about 15 gig, something like that, for a practice qualifying race. About 15 gig in 1080p. Doing me in 4K, and you're talking 35, 40 gig. I haven't got that amount of hard drive space, because I usually have like a whole season saved up on the hard drive, but in 4K it's like 35, 40 gig each race. That's ridiculous. So I can't get into 4K. As for 4K movies as well, they're just so much more expensive than getting it on Blu-ray. And as a lot of people have said, most modern TVs do a pretty decent job of upscaling Blu-ray to almost, if it's a 4K TV, almost 4K quality anyway. So there isn't really any point in getting sort of 4K movies, to be honest. True, Wii U existed and the Xbox One as well. Every console is going to struggle next time due to price going up at this. Yes, price going up at this. Oh my god. Yes. Price going up at this. So we've gone from... We're going to go from $2.99 for this bad boy. £299 when it's released. Ended up as £49 in the end. In Argos, which is a UK retail store. If you're watching in the US, it's very much like Walmart, to be honest. Reduced to £49. They come out with a slim version of this, the PS1 as they called it, or the PSX as some people called it. But it was reduced to £49 at the very end of its life cycle for the PlayStation 1. So $2.99 to $49 by the end of its life cycle. And let's jump forward to the PS5. I don't know what the current price is. It's 5 something, isn't it? I think it's 5. Let me just look that up. Okay, it's currently 500. Oh no, I flipped my camera around. I've flipped my camera upside down. I can't remember how to flip it back again. Oh, there it goes. No, that's gone in reverse now. Oh god. Now I've done it. I'm in reverse. Can you see me in reverse? How do I flip it back again? Oh god, I can't remember. Oh, maybe that's it. Is that it? Oh, what a mistake of the maker, Dave. Is that that's it? I'm back. Oh god. Right, the current price of the console is £569 in the UK. That's the that's the full version, the disc-based console. $569, and it launched in 2020 for £429. So instead of going down, it's gone up. And this is the first Sony console to go up in price the longer it's gone through its life cycle. The first Sony console. They have all dropped in price. The PS2, I do believe, was also $299 when it first came out. That rapidly went down to $229. I remember it was $229, then $200, and then it dropped that. PS3 was exactly the same, $425, dropped to $399, and it dropped to $299, then $199, I do believe, in the end. PlayStation 4 was the same. I think that launched at, was it $329? I think it was. Yeah, I think it was just above what the others were, $329, and then that also rapidly reduced in price as the years went on. But the PlayStation 5, everyone, no, it's gone up in price. It's now $560, which is just crazy. It's over half a grand. $500,000. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let me convert that if there's any Americans watching. That's 759.27 cents of United States dollar. 759 for a games console. Yes. Oh my god, it's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy that it would be that much. But yes. So it's the first console that's gone up in price by Sony. The predictions for the PlayStation 6 is that it's going to launch at £960. £960. I've got no confirmation of whether that's correct or not, obviously, because they haven't even launched it yet. But that's the prediction due to the fact of everyone knows about the RAM crisis and how the prices of RAM has trebled, quadrupled, and of course the PS6 has got to have RAM in it, otherwise it won't work. So yes, 960 is the prediction. So that means that over time, it's going to end up 5 years later at about £1,100. £1,100 for a game console. With don't forget, no disc drive. Just a digital only console, 1,100 smackers with no disc drive and the ability to play only PS6 games and PS5 games that aren't on disc. Because I'm telling you now, they won't bother with PS4 now. That's out the window. No, out the window. They won't even bother with that. £1,100 for a games console. That's just absolutely insane. Sony using blue and black kind of worked. Yeah, it did. I like blue and black. The next gen of consoles won't really be consoles as such. No, it probably will be cloud. Yeah, true. Sony don't want preservation. They want to force you to buy your games multiple times. This is true. This is true. Hello, I've lost the chat again. Oh, here we go. Games no older than 7 years. Exactly. Yeah, that's where it's going to be, Mr. Regala. 100%. You're going to have no games older than 7 years, because they're just going to delist them. Because as I say, they do that with the Formula One games now. The Formula One games they do aggressively delist. The other games they do hang on to for quite a few years, but only up to about 7, and then they get rid of them. Gaming is in a ditch right now. It is. And this couldn't be the worst time for Sony to announce that, the way the gaming industry and developing is going. They are basically, they're in the mud. The whole game industry is in the mud. And then Sony calmly comes out of the blue and says, oh, by the way, just thought we'd tell you we're getting rid of disc in 2028. Yes. Unbelievable. Currently have a Nintendo Switch though. Oh, nice. I wonder what the next Xbox will be called, because since the original Xbox, we've had Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series X. I wonder what the next one will be called. Well, I don't know, Shane. I don't know. The Xbox. Well, if it's an upgrade, they could call it the Xcox, couldn't they? Because, natural progression. Xbox, Xcox. Yes. True, Shane. Microsoft consoles have interesting names. Probably the name of the console will be Xbox, the console. Yes. Maybe it will be called Xbox, the console strikes back. Or maybe it'll be called Xbox, the return of the box. I'm just making up film reference names now. Maybe it'll be called the Phantom Xbox. Attack of the Xbox. Or maybe it'll be called Revenge of the Xbox. Who knows? Also, last week, Dave, when you looked up Sinbad carrying me over his shoulder, you could have picked one image using the background instead of all the images. Yes, I could have done. Hello, Mr. Matthew. Welcome back. He says, how's Drum Tank's sales job going? Do you want to see something really special? Okay, I'll show you something really special in a moment. Okay, in a moment. If I forget, remind me. So, Matthew, this is going to be for you. Okay. Drum Tank potentially was fired again. I do miss VHS tapes, says Shay. Yeah, me too. The best thing about VHS was that most players came with a recording function. Yes. According to them, the high prices because of RAM shortages. Yeah, that's what they'll tell you. Yes. In other news, I'm officially in line to be the next Pope. Wowzers. Wowzers. Epic. I heard there used to be a Betamax tapes. I only found that out back in 2016 since I wasn't born then. And they released because I was born in 1998. Yes, Betamax used to be a thing, Shane. It was the rival to VHS. Red Ring of Death. I have to say, what was good about VHS tapes was they included trailers before and after the film, and they included bonus footage after. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. You're quite correct, Shane. They did. The PS2 was so big, the Weakest Link got a game for it. Yes, it did. I've got that game. I've got the Weakest Link game. Yes. In fact, that was the first game I got for the PS2. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I got my PS2 in Electronics Boutique, which in some places is called Game. Okay, I got it in there, and they had a deal on. They had a deal on with the PlayStation. You could get 3 games, I think, for, was it 50 quid? I think it was 3 games, 50 quid. Now, unfortunately, at the time, there wasn't many games for the PS2 because it was quite new. I didn't get it from you because it was far too expensive, but it wasn't too long into the cycle, and so there wasn't many around. And so it was a woman, and she was like pressuring me to hurry up and pick 3 games for the. And I was like, I don't know, because obviously I'd picked the latest Formula 1 game. I think it was F1 2001. I'd got that in the bag, and there was probably some other kind of racing game there as well. That was in the bag, but I had one more to pick, and she was getting really annoyed with me. She goes, can you hurry up, please? She's going, hurry up. So I was just looking, and I was panicking, and I went, that one. She went, thank you. And it was the Weakest Link. Yes, it was the Weakest Link. I'm on about doing a video on YouTube called Remember When Physical Media Was Actually Good, like when VHS tapes included trailers and bonus footage. Yeah, go for it, Shane. Wii Sports Classic Game, Wii Sports Resort the Upgrade, red hot. The problem with Wii Sports Resort is with bowling and golf, which both appeared in the previous game. You get used to the classic, that Resort was hard at first. True, I guessed. I think before the Betamax and VHS, people had to own a film projector and film reels to watch films at home. Yes, they did, Shane. Yes, there was a little thing called 8mm, which was like a film projector, but there was no sound. It was just picture only, and it was very jerky on the pictures. But that's how people used to record stuff. I don't even think you could watch movies back before VHS. I don't think. I mean, they had like really old projectors, and you could probably get hold of a movie sort of, not officially, but I don't I mean, they didn't sell movies in shops back in the 60s, did they? It was only the VHS era that came along where where Blockbuster and all this lot started cropping up, that movies, started appearing, wasn't it? That you could watch. So I don't think people watched movies apart from the way that you did back in the day was at the cinema, and that was it. You just watched a film at the cinema, and there was nothing else to watch. I mean, I may be wrong, but I don't remember being able to buy movies before VHS came along. Not officially, anyway. Like I say, you could get projectors back in the 60s that would play home movies, and maybe you could get someone who knew how to cough illegally get a movie on them. But officially, I don't think there was any way people played movies back in the day. So I think it was VHS when that really started to come along. Unfortunately, internet will be so fast that people will use it for silly videos of taking foods. Yes, they will. Pretty knows me like, hello Mr. DJM99, welcome to see. Hey all, I'm a bit late to the party as usual. Very disappointed with Sony. Will Microsoft follow suit? Yes, they will, absolutely. They will absolutely follow suit. In fact, I mean, they're already the first manufacturer to come out with the first digital-only console, wasn't they? Their Xbox, whatever you call it these days, was actually digital-only, wasn't it? They were the test bed for this. And this has all come about from Sony due to last week and GTA been on pre-order and saying there won't be any discs for it. They were waiting for this to happen, Sony, before they announced this news that there will be no more discs in 2028. They saw the reaction to it and they thought, right, okay, let's go with it. Otherwise, I think it would have got delayed for a bit longer. Happy. Probably will. Pretty knows me lunch. 4K Ultra HDD is the latest physical media. Yes, it is. 30 quid. Back when memory cards were the king, Virgin was called Telewest. Yes, it was. Telewest. I actually joined it when it was its original name, which was United Artists. Yes, I moved into this house. Literally 2 weeks later, they started laying the cables, and they said, "Do you want cable TV?" Because where I live in a dip, and you can't get a good TV signal. I've got a Freeview aerial, but it's not very good. It's pretty shit. You can only get about a dozen channels on it. So we've always relied on cable in this area. Before I moved in, there was cable here, but it was called Reader Fusion cable, if anyone remembers that name. Yes, back in the day, there used to be a shop called Read Fusion, and you'd get your cable in there, but it was old cable. It was like the old copper cable of old, and that's how you used to get your TV and you used to get your radio as well, coming down this copper line back in the day. But then they came along and said, "Do you want?" I said, "Yeah, all right then." And they were called United Artists. Not for very long, literally a few months, and then they changed to Telewest. Happy, woo, now streaming is taking over physical media. Yes, going back to 5:05. It's a 7-hour flight or a 45-minute drive. I have a Sony DVD VCR combo. Nice. Oh, those Sony VCRs were absolutely indestructible. I had one for about 12 years. I stupidly threw it away because I had no further use for it. Not because it was broken, it was working fine, but I had no further use for it. So I threw it away. It was working absolutely fine. They were pretty much damn indestructible. The only problem with Sony VHS players were they're so bloody noisy. Starting up and even playing, they'd make a hell of a racket. But they were indestructible, I'll tell you. Indestructible. Most VHS tapes I had, they were Disney. He's moved it. Happy. Red Ring of Death was a problem, but Xbox 360 is only heater from that company. Even now, memory cards are still 10 to 15 quid. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, isn't it? 360, Wii and PS3 is a super close battle. I love every console, even though I haven't had all consoles. I still have a few official memory cards that my dad bought from cash converters. Nice. Sadly, I've got some PS2 memory cards and they no longer work. I have been on the internet, and apparently if you don't plug them in now and again, they've got like a little battery inside, and if you don't plug them in now and again to power, the battery dies and it gets rid of your save. But the thing is, I've dropped it again, but the thing is, it won't let me, even though it's blank, it won't let me save onto it. So the battery must do something to ensure that the save works. So it won't let me save either. So yeah, I've lost about 2 memory cards. So it's a tip for you. If you've got memory cards for the PS2, plug them into your PS2 and put the power on. Run a power cycle through these memory cards, because as I say, there's a little battery inside, which if it stops, it won't work anymore. Yes, I've lost 2 that way. 2 original PlayStation 2 cards. They won't work now because, as I say, I didn't know, but I looked it up online. There's a little battery inside, and that keeps the data on. It memorizes the data and keeps it on here. So, little top tip for you. All 3 of those are bangers. Nothing beats the noise the PS2 made when putting a blue disc in. Oh yes, that was great. That was because it was spinning at 52 times speed, which was the standard CD spin time. 4K span. Verstappen will beat Hamilton on Sunday, says Will. Yes, he will. I'm sure he will. That will please Jimmy Fix It. Are there any 4K players or only on 4K TVs? Yes, there are 4K players. The PlayStation 5, in fact, Shane, plays 4K movies. Bacon, ham, eggs and cheese. Hamilton might catch Ferraris again. Here we go. PSP and PS Vita were the only handheld PlayStation consoles. £49 for a console. Those were the days. They were indeed. Do you have any Nintendo handheld consoles, Dave? Only the one, Shane. That's the Game Boy. I think it's behind me. That's the only one I have ever had handheld anyway. 500 XP again. Your camera is mirrored. Yeah, that's all right. I've sorted it out now, Shane. Dave's camera is malfunctioning. Doing a Kimi Räikkönen and coming back just in my check. Tom and Jerry, 329. The PlayStation was released during the PlayStation 5 was released during the pandemic. Yes, it was. Chowder. Lewis Hamilton overtakes Timo Glock. TMY punches the TV. Congratulations to Max Verstappen on winning the British Grand Prix. Yes. The PS6 will struggle to sell above 50 to 60 million units. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree. X-Cox. Maybe. He can win it. PS6 will be lucky to get 12 million as it stands. You could be right. You could be right. Sad 2028. Yes. 569 for a console that is most likely to fail within 5 years with controllers that show stick drift after 6 months. Xbox no better. My PS1 is still going strong, as is PS2 OG Xbox. Exactly. Yes. I've got this repair shop that I follow. I think he's based in the US, and he literally gets 20 PS5s a day for either HDMI failure, because the HDMI on the PS5, if anyone doesn't know, is piss poor. It's very, very weak. You can literally strip the socket off the motherboard just by unplugging it and plugging it back in again. So if you've got a PS5, take my advice and keep the unplugging and plugging in to a minimum. Once you've plugged it in, just leave it if you can. Unfortunately, a lot of people, they unplug them and take them around friends' houses and stuff like that. I really wouldn't suggest that you do that, because that socket is very, very weak. Very, very weak. And I can't believe I'm saying that about a £569 console, about how weak the HDMI socket is, but it is seriously weak. So it's either coming into his shop for that, or because they're overheating, because the liquid metal is has pulled in one place, not the other, and so it's not getting cooled down enough, and so it's overheating. Yes, and he gets literally 20 a day to fix and repair. It's just crazy, isn't it? Crazy. And yes, just like you, I've got a PS1 from 1995, which is still working. Still working. Now, admittedly, there's no thermals on this console. There's no thermal cooling whatsoever on this console, because it didn't need it, because it never reached hot enough. There's no fan on this console. I think there may be a thermal pad on top of the processor, but it's just literally, as it implies, it's a piece of thermal sticky stuff that you stick on the top. That's the only cooling that is on this console. So admittedly, it probably would last a long time because of that. But yeah, I get your point. X-Cox. We need Sega back to bring gaming back to the basics. I reckon if someone bought Sega out and they went in a similar direction to Nintendo and created a console strictly for games. Yes, we need Sega back. I can't believe I'm saying that after I deserted them, but yes, we need Sega back. Xbox Premier the Lords. But marketing is the more mature audience, like Sega used to do with the Mega Drive. So I guess you didn't have time to bring up one image of Sinbad. No, I didn't. Shame. I kept getting voted off on the Wikis link due to me getting only one answer wrong. I know. It was a terribly harsh game. I used to take it round my sisters on a Tuesday night, and so there was me, my sister, her husband, and my two nieces. So what's that? 5? 1, 2, 3. 5 of us, yes. And we used to have, I think we used to play 7. So we had 2 AIs playing. Those AIs were vicious, I'll tell you. But they'd always vote you off. But yeah, and it was bloody hard. It was bloody hard. And Robinson in digitised form. That makes me shiver just from thought alike. Yes, it was bad. It was bad. Yes. Hurry up and buy the weakest link. Yes. Yes, that's what she said. Hurry up and buy it. Yeah, because DVDs were actually good because they were a lot to explore on DVD menus like special features and trailers. Yes, and DVDs are still being made today because there's so many more DVDs in people's homes than there is like Blu-ray players, because they were marketed so much. Every single computer you bought back in the 2000s and the 90s had a DVD player in it. So if you still got old computers, you got DVD players in them. They've only just the last 7 or 8 years stopped putting DVD drives in them. But yeah, so there was DVD drives everywhere. PlayStation 2 DVD drive. Actual physical DVD drives were everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. So I bet you there's very few houses that still haven't somewhere got a DVD player. It may not be using it now. It may have put it up in the loft or whatever, or down in the basement. But I bet you somewhere every single person's house has got an ability to play a DVD disc. The weakest link. Also, some DVDs included games you could play. Yes, DVD menus used to be great back in the day. Now it's bland. Yes. Movies were still a special occasion thing before VHS. I don't think demand for home media was as big a thing. That's true. Rediffusion cable. Yes. My granddad had United Artists cable so he could watch classic films on Sky Movies Gold. Lance Stroll is the weakest link. Yes. Why, yeah, because most DVD menus include no special features or trailers, just play, scene selection, and up we go. F1 goodbye. Pretty much all the top Ferrari drivers won the British Grand Prix with the Ferrari team. Plug in the memory card. Yes, sir. You didn't specify which console, so I'm gonna plug it into the PS1 just for you. I hope this does it for you. Here we go. We should be playing some of that sexy music, shouldn't we? Dun, dun, dun. Now I've got to do it in reverse because I'm looking forwards at my camera. So, oh, timer's gone off. That's my first timer. Bloody hell, how long have I been on? 1 hour 30. Oh, here we go. We should play that sexy music, shouldn't we? Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Let's stick it in the slot, everyone. I can't do it because I'm looking at the camera. Get in there, you bugger. That's what she said. I can't do it. I can't see what I'm doing. Get in there. Oh, this is going to be well funny. Get in there, you buck. I can't do it. I'm looking at the camera trying to stick it in the hole. That's what she said. I can't do it. I can't. Oh, bloody hell. I can't. Sodding well. I can't. Sodding well. Get in there. Oh, for... Get it. Get. Oh, bloody hell. No, it still won't go in. What am I doing? Oh, I'm putting it in the controller port. Oh, you idiot. Oh, dear. I just like to tell you that I have as much success with that as I do with the ladies. Yes. Let's rewind that and do it again, shall we? I still can't get it in now. Get it in. Yes, there it goes. Oh, God, what an idiot. What an idiot. I was trying to put it in the controller port. Why won't it go in there? Because it's the controller port, you sponge. Oh, my God. They're all yellow. So, you don't have a DS, Dave? No, I don't, Shane. So with The Simpsons. Let me guess, the screen has rotted away on your Game Boy. Yes, the screen has rotted away. Unfortunately. I think it's up there. Somewhere. Yeah, it's right up there. And yeah, unfortunately, the screen has rotted away. It's got a line down it as well. I know they do repair them online and they actually put like an OLED screen in, which I think is remarkable, to be honest. I've seen the video of it, and with an OLED screen on it, it looks absolutely sensational. It really does, really does. But I think it's rather expensive, so. No DS, happy. I only have a DSi for pretty much the Flipnote Studio. So I don't have the original DS, 3DS or 2DS. Great. I have a DSi and a 3DS. Come to think of it, there's no Formula 1 game on the DS, but there is one on the 3DS, which is F1 2011. Sega would be epic. The PSP was pretty cool. F1 2011 on the 3DS was basically F1 2009. Brazil 2012 was one of the greatest races of all time. So it's just the DSi and the 3DS. You have the original DS. I did have a couple of DSs. I'm convinced at least 25% out of all the 155 million PS2s sold were down to the thing effectively being made of glass. Yes, you're quite true. They were a little bit fragile. What about the 2DS? One died and my brother took it in the bath with him and flooded. Oh dear. Still waiting. Will F1, still waiting for fixed video. Another DS died with me and my brother were fighting over who got the next turn and ended up splitting it in half. Oh dear. Good God. Good God. Really set off Will with some Lawson fans. Oh dear, that's sad. I'll get around to the fixed video soon, have the script made up. In. Looks like you're doing it over the shoulder, carry with the PS1, Dave. Yes, maybe Hamilton has... Maybe Hamilton's been driver this year. Gonna have a fixed blame Max Verstappen for England's defeat against... And I've lost the chat. There it is. There it is. I was going to have fixed blame Max Verstappen for England's defeat against Dr. Congo until Harry Keane foiled that idea. Andrea Kimi Antonelli has done well as well. Another DS died when my brother broke it again. You finally did it. You finally put the memory card in the PS1, Dave. I did. George Russell could still win the championship in 2026. He could. My brother also the DSi that he broke. So case in point, don't give my brother Nintendo handheld. Yes. Right, let's finally go to the F1 news. I've only been on God knows how many hours. I haven't even got to the news yet. Here we go, everyone. F1 news. Of course, it is the Silverstone Grand Prix this weekend. Already, the FIA are in a little bit of turmoil due to the fact that Max Verstappen came out of the simulator for Silverstone and basically couldn't stop laughing because he said the battery is literally going to run out halfway around the circuit. I've been waiting eagerly for a high-speed circuit to come on the calendar. As we know, Silverstone, pretty much 95% flat out. We know that for a fact. And now we've got a situation where they're running on battery. Already, the FIA have panicked. Already. And I understand they've reduced harvesting limits for Silverstone to try and get some more battery for the cars. But I still think that Silverstone is going to be an absolute farce. Obviously, I don't want it to be because it's our home circuit in the UK. I want it to be a great race, but I fear it's going to be an absolute farce because I think the batteries are going to run out pretty much halfway around the lap. What have we got? What have we got? Aston Martin have made fresh contact with Christian Horner. Yeah, we don't believe that, do we? Why Silverstone will bring out the worst of F1 2026. Yes, because it's going to run out of power, obviously. Obviously. Oh, lads, we've got a female here. Look, Sarah on the grid. Shall we check out Sarah on the grid? Shall we? Shall we check out Sarah on the... Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it, lads. Let's check out Sarah on the grid. Let's do it.
It's race week and a sprint week, but there is some extra drama this week around the regulations, and Max Verstappen is unhappy. He said he was practicing for this track in the simulator, and he was laughing as he was going around because the track is completely different. Why? That has to do with the 2026 regulations and the FIA deciding to cap the battery at 6 megajoules of harvesting for qualifying. If that sounds like gobbledygook to you, imagine that you're out all day getting to go to an F1 race, but your battery hits 10% at only 3 p.m. You have to switch to low power mode, and you have to take less photos and videos, and that is exactly the kind of struggle that these drivers are going to be going through. Through certain sections, they're going to be going flat out, and then the battery will start pulling some of that power from the internal combustion engine, reducing the speed and causing super clipping. And then that battery power will run out, and they'll be left with just the internal combustion engine, which has its own power cap. So these sections that used to be flat out are now going to have a gradual slowdown, and I think we're going to have slower lap times. Now, this is just for the qualifying session, but qualifying is important, and we have 2 of them this weekend because there's both the sprint and the Grand Prix. And this might put slightly less stress on the tires because the drivers won't be at such high speeds around every corner, but Pirelli is still bringing their hardest tires, the C1, 2, and 3, to cope with all of the lateral forces around these high-speed corners. And the drivers will get 1 less set of tires because it is a sprint weekend, and those sprint sessions don't include as much track time as the practice sessions that they're replacing. Now, last year, Lando Norris won this in his superb McLaren, but it looks like this might go in favor of George Russell because the Mercedes is so efficient at harvesting the battery power. But do you think this is going to go to Kimi or maybe even the McLarens? Let me know in the comments along with any questions you have, and I'll see you on the grid.
Well, I have to say that was pretty well explained. Yes, I've seen lots of idiots trying to explain stuff fixed, but yeah, I think that was pretty well explained. Now, the reason I'm on Instagram is because Matthew asked me this earlier about Mr. Drum Tank. Mr. Drum Tank. Now, if anyone has got the Instagram, then feel free to follow me on my now Instagram page, which is F1 Games PlayStation YouTube, which I've just created in the past few weeks. I'm not going to be uploading a lot of stuff on there because unfortunately you need 1,000 subscribers to be able to broadcast live, but there will be a few things coming up on there from time to time, so feel free to join my Instagram on the official F1 Games PlayStation page. So there you go, there it is. But that's not what I wanted to show you because Matthew asked me about Mr. Drum Tank. And so, yes, here is Mr. Drum Tank. Hang on a minute, I've got to... Here he is, everyone. Now, I want everybody to subscribe to Dom Drives Honda on Instagram. There he is. He's now a product specialist for Meadowvale Honda, and there's a phone number. I don't know why he's put that on the screen, but obviously it's not bad that I'm broadcasting it because it's on Instagram. So why am I covering it up? It's on Instagram. Anyone can see it. So I don't know why I'm covering it up. But yes, here he is, everyone. He's just sold a car, and God, does he look happy about it. Look, there he is. There it is, everyone. The American dream right there. Dom Drives Honda. He's just sold a car. Yes. Look at that. Look at that. To a bloke called Albert. Well done, Albert. Well done. Anyone who can put up with Dom for more than 4 hours, he deserves a medal. And at least $4,000 off a car as well, I do believe. But there he is. Everyone, go follow Dom Drives Honda. Yes. And no, he didn't know I was going to do this. And yes, he's going to absolutely kill me if he ever finds out. Which he's not going to find out, is he? Because he doesn't watch these streams because he's too busy trying to sell Hondas. Oh dear. What have I done? What have I done? Anyway, let's get rid of that.
Oh boy.
Right, is there any more news that we're looking at before I go back to the chat? Any more news? Any more news? So, of course, it is Silverstone this weekend. I've just noticed from that lady there, Sarah on the grid, that it's also a sprint weekend, which I didn't realise. Why? Why did you have to go and ruin Silverstone with a sprint weekend? The good news, people in the UK who don't get Sky, which is me, is that the whole thing is free this weekend on Channel 4, which is great. So I get to see the whole of the race live. Well, it won't be live because I'll record it and watch it later because I'm not watching it live. Because I like to get rid of the adverts. But I will be able to see the whole of the race, which is great. The only time we in the UK can do that if we haven't got Sky. Yes, yes. So apart from that, there's not much sort of news. It is only Thursday, of course. No doubt it'll start tomorrow. Charging, F1 British Grand Prix, weather forecast, all the stories. Lando Norris says Max Verstappen wanted to join McLaren from Red Bull. Would do something. I don't know. Anyway, it is Silverstone, the home of the British Grand Prix. I better get back to the chat before I forget it. And the time's getting on. Also, a 3DS of mine's broke when the top screen went too bright and caused constant overheat. Hello, Mr. Helium Trophy Watcher Street. He says really late on here. Well, that's okay. That's okay. I will be going in a minute. Been playing Dirt Rally 2.0. Oh, nice. Nice. That's a great one. That is Dirt Rally 2.0. I must admit. I like that one. The only race I can watch due to not having Sky. Me too, sir. Me too. I mean, I watch all the highlights on Channel 4, but actual full race coverage is going to be great. I can't wait. I can't wait. So I'm not going to watch it live. I'm going to record it. Now I've finally got a cable box again. I'm going to record it. But yeah, great. Can't wait. The news, like they always do. 2026 regs are working well. Silverstone and farces go pretty well together. Yes, they do. Antonelli, best driver of 2026 so far. Russell won't be champion. 2026 regs are running out of batteries. Good God, Caledonia. Oh, great. Super clipping too. This time it's personal. Yes, I do like that. If Russell is world champion, then Norris may be the second worst world champion. Maybe. Oh, dear. And some have voted for spite licking Marina. Okay. Oh, no. Dave is watching a female. Yes, it's bound to end badly. Jesus Christ, I had to mute it there. Oh, dear. She wasn't that good then, was she? I had to say I really wasn't listening, to be honest. Again, Dave is getting cancelled again. Paddock 69, I mean, your best mate seems to have recovered after his awful all-time list. He seems to be one of the real ones who know these regs are good. For luck, I can mute any YouTube. I've done another post to ask people which hairstyle of Marina do you prefer, which hair is untied or hair... hair tied, definitely. Gomez says, hello Gomez, welcome to the stream. He says, damn Dave, this is so bad. Are you telling me I'm going to have to start watching cricket now? Yes, you're going to have to start watching cricket now. It is bad. It's all bad news. It's all bad news on these streams, yes. Sony are being very, very bad. Very, very bad indeed. Bad Sony. Get back in your basket. No dog biscuits for you. Yes. We're all going to have to start watching cricket. Yes. I'm more disappointed because I wanted to play the PlayStation 8 in the retirement community home. Yes, that's what I wanted to do, but it looks like I'm not going to be able to now. No, because if it hasn't got a disk drive, I'm out. Yes. As Alan Sugar used to say, you're fired and that's it. No. But I wanted to play my PlayStation 8 in the retirement castle. Oh God, I think my stream nearly broke then. We went into the red, but we're back. I did say at the start of the stream, I'm on brand new internet, so it may fail. But we're back. It's okay. Yes, I wanted to play the PlayStation 8 in the retirement castle, but doesn't look like it's going to happen now. So yes, unfortunately, we're just all going to have to watch cricket now, Gomez. Watch cricket, yes. How bloody boring. I know. Please don't watch cricket, says Canadonia. Cricket is a beautiful game, says he. There you go. There's a counterpoint. That's what I love, counterpoints. Cricket is a beautiful game. It is, Helium. Which fresh hell am I looking at? Itchy. That poor man's being held hostage by Dom. Yes, he is. He is. Hostage, yes. He didn't let him out for 4 days unless he bought a Honda. Yes, that's what he did. Oh, there we go. Time's up, everyone. That poor... You're a good man. You're a good man. Albert Brown and you was wounded in the war. Yes. Dom drives Renault. Does every Honda that Dom sells come with extra vibrations for that true Honda experience? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Extra vibrations. So you're just like you're driving a Formula One Honda. 2026 Formula 1 season has been rather solid. Silverstone, the circuit over here in the UK. Rumours, all tosh rumours. Another circuit over here in the UK is Brands Hatch. Super clipping is kind of okay, says Mr. Regara. I'm fucking shit at the game, but it's brilliant, says he. And yes, it is very, very tough. But I find all those rally games tough. I don't care. In fact, I pretty much finish last every single time I play them. Yes, I'm last, but I don't care. I just play them anyway. I just play them anyway because I love them. But yes, I'm pretty much last. Fair. When Phil Mills says we have an engine problem, I feel like saying, no, Phil, we have a driver problem. Yes. Russell is showing more than Norris and Bottas, and his performance hasn't been that great. If Russell himself even ups it a little bit, he can come back. The PlayStation brand won't last till the 8th console, says. Yeah, you're probably right there. I'm pretty sure PlayStation 6 will be the last physical console that Sony will make. Then it will go to cloud streaming services. Obviously, as I say, the internet will be improved because it'll all be fiber optic everywhere, won't it? And yeah, everything will be so fast. You'll just stream your game off the internet. What that does to multiplayer gaming all over the world, I've no idea, because obviously that's going to put more strain on that, isn't it? So I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure they'll work it out eventually. PlayStation 7 isn't looking like it's out at the moment. No, I don't think it will. So you have seen any of my posts on my channel? Yes, Shane, I have. Right, that's it. We got to the end. We've got to the end of the chat. Thank you so much for joining me. The time has gone past at warp factor 9.9, as it always does every single week. I've been nattering shit for the last 2 hours once again, and it feels like about 10 minutes. It really does. Feels like about 10 minutes. But there you go. How were the dodgy streams I sent you last week, Dave? Yes, thank you. They were very, very enjoyable. Only trouble is I can't speak Spanish and I can't understand what she was saying. But the legs were nice, so I didn't really care. Yes, didn't really care. I watched a bit of quali and I watched a bit of the race as well. And then I managed to watch the highlights of the race later on in the evening on Channel 4, I think it was, because they've got this on-demand service so you can catch up, and it was on there, so I watched it on there. So yes, thank you very much for that. That was a nice diversion, considering that I didn't have any telly at all. So yeah, it was good to have. Thank you. You mean totally legal streams? Yes, totally legal YouTube streams. Totally legal streams, YouTube lawyers. Yes, totally legal. No, that wasn't dodgy at all. Nothing dodgy about those streams. No, nothing dodgy about those streams. It was about as dodgy as Dom's haircut. Yes, it was. About as dodgy as Dom's haircut. Really was. Oh my god. So anyway, everyone, as I said, please go over and make sure you sign up to Dom Drives Honda, just in case you've forgotten. There he is. There he is again, and we'll get that. We'll get that. There he is. There is the beautiful man. There is the beautiful man. Yeah, I didn't know Star Trek was still auditioning actually for the latest TV show. I thought that was all over, but clearly not. He's getting ready for the next Star Trek TV series or movie. I don't know, but there he is. There he is. And congratulations to Albert. You can see by the look on his face that he's really happy with his transaction, the sale. He's really, really happy. I mean, the fact that Dom's had him tucked up in a dungeon for the past 4 days and wouldn't let him out until he agreed to the sale is immaterial. But yes, well done. So yes, please everyone, I implore you. In fact, everyone in the whole of the world right now, go and follow Dom Drives Honda, because I'm sure he'll appreciate the follow, because he's just started this Instagram page. As you can see, he's only done 2 posts. He's only got 21 followers at the moment, so we got to get that up. Come on, he needs more followers. And I mean, just I won't let me click on, but just look at that face. Just look at that face. I mean, how can you not? How can you not at that face? Seriously, how can you not? Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can blow that face up. Because this is the face that needs to be talked about. It really does. There it is. There it is, everyone. I mean, how can you not? How can you not subscribe with a face like that? I mean, just it's going to go a bit. It's going to go a bit pixelated now because it's getting bigger. Everyone, that's what she said. It's getting bigger. But how could you not with a face like that? How could you say? How could you say no? Look, there he is. There he is. Dominic Orlando, Meadowvale Honda, everyone. Go give him a follow. Go give him a follow, because he's just starting out in this epic journey. He tells us every week during the ERL streams that things are not going well. Apparently, he made $100 on his last sale, and he's on commission only, which means that's all he gets, $100. Oh my goodness, 4 hours work for $100 is. It's outrageous. It really is outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. But there he is. How can you refuse a face like that? I mean, just look at it. Just look at it. I mean, what a beautiful man. Honestly. What a beautiful man. And I think I've taken the piss enough for tonight. Okay. We know you were watching a different kind of stream, Dave. Legitimate stuff. About as dodgy as Lawrence Stroll's private life. Dom drives depression. So even though Marina wears a blue top, yellow cap and black pants in Sinbad Legend of the Seven Seas, prefer hair tie with that. Yes, I do, shame. He just had to lose the beige. What a picture. What a picture. What a photograph. How much horsepower does the car have, Dom? Lots. Moving on. Yes. I've seen serial killers that have more life in their eyes than Dom. Poor lad. I'll tell you, poor lad. He's trying his best, and now he's getting reference to a serial killer. The poor lad. Honestly, the poor lad. That is brutal. Funny, but brutal. Dom drives BAR. He does. Yes, he does drive a BAR. And just like them in 1999, he's not going to win a race, is he? Anyway, thank you everyone for joining me tonight. You've been awesome. I'm going to have to hit the button. I'm going to hit the top fans button. There it is. There it is. We have 9 people tonight in the top fans. And here we go. From number 9 to number 1. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Where's the first one? Hello? Yep. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Got it. Okay, pop pickers. At number 9, it's Gomez IX6NP. At number 8, we've got Mr. DJM9937. At number 7, we've got Matthew 7657. At number 6, it's the Helium Trophy. At number 5, it's Mr. Regara. In at number 4, it's Shane Coburn 2023. Here we go then. It's time for the top 3, the podium positions for our top fans of tonight. At number 3, we have... It's Caledonia F1. Well done, sir. 3rd place for you. At number 2, it's the Scissor Sisters, which means at number 1, and due in no way whatsoever to any kind of monetary contribution, he's still the number 1 man in Yorkshire right now. It's Mr. Will F1. He is this week's top fans. Well done, Mr. Will. Once again, you've done it. You've bloody well done it. Yes. Well done to you. Well done to you. Anyway, that's it, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. You've been awesome as always. I shall read the last of the chat. Dom drives GP2 engine. Yes, he does. Dom drives Tyrrell. How come you prefer Marina's hair tie with her blue, black wrap and black pants? I always like a lady tied. Caterham gets the podium. Yes, you do. Well done. Will wins via Chippy T donation. Yes, he does. Dom drives nerve damage. Not to be discouraged, says Helium Trophy. Yes, well done to all of you. In my eyes, you're all winners. You're all winners out there. You're all winners. Anyway, thanks so much to everyone out there tonight. You've been awesome as always for me. And of course, everyone's favourite bear. Yes, and number 1 Lewis Hamilton fan. He's excited for Silverstone, aren't you, TB? Lulu's going to win it. Are you sure? Are you sure? Oh, he says Lewis Hamilton's going to win at Silverstone. That's what he predicts. Fantastic. Fantastic indeed. Dom drives a car that's 12 laps down. Yes. The Lance Stroll special. The Lance... You know what? I just had a thought, actually. I just had a thought. Doesn't Dom look like Lance Stroll? I mean, just that, it must be a Canadian thing. But look at that jawline. I mean, that is the Lance Stroll jawline, isn't it? Oh my goodness. My goodness. You know what? I don't think we've blown that up, you know. I don't think we've blown up the full beauty of that face, and I think I need to rectify that right now. Oops, not that one. That one. I think we need to rectify that now. Just look at this, everyone. This is a thing of beauty right there. Look at that. Just look at that. Oh my goodness. I'll tell you what. If If I was a homosexual man, that would be for me. I'll tell you, that would be for me. I mean, just look, just look. That is a beautiful man, isn't it? Let's face it. Let's face it. Let's face it. I mean, that is just, as I put the chat over the top of him, which is not good. Go away, chat, a minute. Thank you. That is a beautiful man. Just look at that. You know, it's just, you know, that is homoerotica at its finest. It really is. In fact, it's making me tingle. It's making. It's all right. Don't panic, everyone. Don't panic. Don't panic. I'm okay. I'm just saying that's making me tingle. Just a little bit. Just a little bit now. Just a tiny wee little bit. Yes. He's gonna absolutely slaughter me when he finds this. Not that he's gonna find it because he never watches these streams. He's too busy selling unders. That bear is in the buff, said yes he is. That's why he's enjoying buff streams. That's if the cars get around the circuit, TB. Lance Stroll on lard. Marina's what now? The power of lard. I am a homosexual man. I'd sooner do a cactus. Oh, that's you'd sooner do a cactus than that. No, I know what. No, I'd go for that every single time. Every single time. That is just a beautiful man. I mean, that is. I saw a film once called Brokeback Mountain. I don't know if any of you have seen Brokeback Mountain, but Dom just reminds me of that scene of the film when they're in a tent. Anyway, I won't go into any details. Just watch it yourself if you want to. But yeah, Brokeback Mountain. That's the vibe I'm getting from Dom right there. Yes. Oh my God. You know, I'm still getting a tingle. Every time I see that, I tingle. Yes, I do. Oh God. You want to be on Bizarre Magazine circa 1998. Yes, Dom drives Audi. Dom is about as threatening as a marshmallow. Says a lot about your standards for women if your taste for men. Listen. I have strict protocol for women. Okay, you may think I'm not that fussed, but you are wrong. I have a strict protocol for women. My strict protocol is it's a few points. First point, have to be breathing. Well, it's not essential, but they have to be kind of warm, still kind of gooey. Yeah, still gooey. But apart from that, that's all the criteria, really. Yes. As long as they got a pulse, I'm happy. Yes, but it's not essential as long as they're still warm, fairly warm. You don't want a cold one. That's what I'm saying. Yes, have a cold beer, but don't have a cold woman because no, that's no good at all. Okay, I'm out of here. Dom drives Daddy Stroll to bankruptcy. Hooksters on cider. Strict protocol until they put a nurse's outfit on. Yes. Now you've done it. Yes. Don't forget how strict. Very. Let's just leave it there, shall we? Very, very strict. Yes. You won't find a fully alive woman in. That's true. I will not find a fully alive woman in Chatham. You're quite correct. In my local high street, there's a lot of zombies walking around. who I don't think are very much alive. No. But anyway, don't forget Caledonia F1. Very strict. Very strict indeed. Oh, shit. Shit. Anyway, thank you, everyone. I'm out of here. Enjoy the Grand Prix. I'll be around for the usual shenanigans with the scoreboards for the qualifying and the race. And, of course, the All Seasons is back on Saturday as well. So thank you to everyone. I'll just say thank you to everyone by going to the top fans. Thank you to Gomez for being there tonight. Thank you for DJM as well. Matthew7637, Helium Trophy, Mr. Regala, Scissor Sisters, Shane Coburn. Sorry, got it wrong, Shane. I'm getting tired now. It's time for your medication. Caledonia F1 and Will F1 as well. Thank you to all. You have been awesome as always. Good night, Dave. Good night, Shane. The boiling teaspoon got to their head. Yes. Good night, Mr. Helium Trophy. Good night for me and Mr. TB as well. Yes. Awesome as always. Enjoy Silverstone. And I'll see you for the next one. Yes. I'm off to have some gratuitous sex with my bear now. Yes, because seeing those pictures of Dom has got me, as Mr. Austin Powers would say, well, Randy, baby. Yes, well, Randy. So, yes, thank you, everyone. I must remember to turn the camera off because, you know, you don't want to see what's going to happen next. No, nobody wants to see that. No, good God, no. Thank you, Mr. Caledonia F1. Good night. And good night to everyone. Bye-bye. Don't forget. Instagram. Dom drives Honda. He's going to absolutely kill me when he finds out. But do I care? Not a dicky bird. Thank you, everyone. And good night.